Hello, welcome to another episode of Ukulele AMA. Today's question comes from Rudy, and it's, if you want to start soloing but have no idea where to start, what short practice lessons can you work on to build your fretboard knowledge? And this is a really great question, and soloing is something I get asked a lot about, and it can be a very daunting thing when you're starting. The main reason why people struggle with it so much is because they try to do too much. So in today's session, we're going to talk about a really simple trick you can do to start getting really consistent and good sounding solos with minimal effort. To do this, we're going to look at a song. We're going to look at a tune called Body Surfing. I actually did a tutorial of this. You can check it down in the link below. And having played that will definitely help with this, but it's not needed. And the melody of that is going to sound something like this. I'm just going to play the first couple bars. Right? It's a really catchy, fun melody. Now, it's meant to be a duet, so normally somebody is sitting here playing a D minor chord, while another person is playing this melody over the top of it. Now, if somebody said, hey, Matt, take a solo in this tune and play over the D minor, it might be an overwhelming feeling of like, oh, okay, what do I do? Do I play a D minor scale? Do I play a melody? What do I do for the solo? And the trick we're going to work on today is just utilizing what are called chord tones. So what this means is whatever you're playing, whatever you're trying to solo over, look at what the chord is at the time you're soloing. And let's say it's like this, where it's a D minor chord. Well, what you can do is take a look at each one of the notes in that chord. In the case of D minor, I've got three notes. I have a D, F, and A. The number of times notes are repeated on a ukulele or whatever else doesn't really matter. It's just knowing that I've got these three notes that are in the D minor chord. Now, if somebody starts strumming a D minor chord, I can play those three notes, D, F, and A, as the only notes of my solo, and I can make it sound somewhat decent because they correlate really well. So for instance, if you imagine somebody strumming here, or maybe you want to sit and strum a D minor while I do a little solo, it might sound something like this. Now, was that the most difficult, complicated solo of all time? No, but it sounded pretty decent. Considering I only played three notes, I think it did. And it's not limited to just one voicing of a chord, and that's where the magic really happens. If somebody's playing a D minor chord down here, I want to create a solo, maybe I'll move up to a D minor higher on the fretboard. Or maybe I'll even move up to one higher yet. And what's funny about this, and the reason why I was using this song, is if we go back to that melody and we listen to this, let's go ahead and look at the notes that are played. Don't worry, I'll tell you what they are. They're F, A, D, E, F, A, D, E, F, A, D, E, F, E, D, F. Now, why is this important? Well, the D, the F, and the A were all the notes of the D minor chord. What that means is there's only one note in the melody of Body Surfing here that's not in the chord, and that's this E note. And just to kind of show this as an example, I'm going to play the melody of Body Surfing again, and I'm going to skip the non-chord tone, being that E note. I'm only going to play the notes of the chords, the D, the F, and the A. And it sounds something like this. Hey, that was pretty similar to this, wasn't it? And the reason is very simple. Melody sequences are usually built around chord tones, or rather, chord tones are usually built around melody sequences, depending on the intent of the original songwriter. So by focusing your efforts on playing just the chord tones, you can get a very pure, very consistent good sound when soloing. So if I'm making up a solo now, maybe at this D minor, it might sound something like this. That wasn't so bad, right? Maybe I go up to a different D minor. Maybe with this D minor, even do something funny like. Which you can hear is very much like Body Surfing. So to answer your question, Rudy, what I think is best for wanting to get comfortable with soloing and to build more of a familiarity with the fretboard knowledge with shorter practice sessions is find a chord that you're wanting to solo on, learn some variations of that chord going up the neck, identify those note names, and try to solo with them by just playing those chord tones, not worrying about scales or anything else to create a good sound. Quick tip is remember that less is more. One of the secrets to creating a great solo is using space and repetition. It's really tempting to just kind of play a note, another note, another note, another note, another note, and each time it's moving, right? That doesn't sound very good. It sounds much better to play a note, let it ring for a minute, maybe play a couple more times, and then maybe add a little variation. But giving that space and that repetition of notes really makes it sound just so much better. So I hope this has been a little bit helpful. It's, kind of an interesting concept because there's so much more than the 5.5 minutes we covered here. So I'm sure soloing is something we'll talk more about, on this channel. But for now, my quick and easy tip is learn the chord tones, try playing around with those. Less is more, and see what you can think up with soloing. If you'd like to see your question answered, feel free to leave it down in a comment below. I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week on the next Ukulele AMA. Thanks so much.